Ta-da! It was almost a da-dum of the, like Netflix or something. Hi! Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
And Hannah!
That was unplanned, but fun. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in finally rainy and nasty Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
I'm Hannah, and I'm minion number 2.
I'm like, wait, you know, you're good. You're doing it. I've had moments.
Like, what's going on?
I've had moments where I haven't.
Take a second.
I've had moments where the pharmacy person's like, can I have your birth date to confirm? And I'm like, give me a minute. And then they're like,
100%.
really? Or they're like, are you cheating us? And I'm like, no, I just really have had a long day.
I feel you.
Hello. So, yes, we have lots to talk about and do and things today. If I'm a little slow, I had a migraine yesterday and I'm not quite sure it's fully gone today.
Do we want to do questions first?
Yes. I'm also going to do the whole nuts and bolts first, too,
Okay.
in case I don't think we'll run out of time. But Tuesdays, we have, this is my brain being still slightly broken. Tuesdays, we have virtual sit and stitch on Zoom. Please come join us. Yay! 7 to 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Get into Zoom with the shop phone number.
828-877-3550.
That same phone number can be used for our once a month Sunday dual platform virtual sit and stitch, which is going to be April 13th.
13th.
Because it's the day before your birthday.
Day before my birthday.
It's not this Sunday, but it's a week from Sunday. You can see me on Facebook Live and hear Zoom, or go to Zoom and get the same thing. And that is from 2 to 4 U.S. Eastern Time that Sunday. Okay. One more nuts and bolts thing, which I'll come back. That looks so pretty. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Which I'll come back to when it's my turn as well. Don't have a ton of people signed up, so there's still plenty of space if you want to join the Granny Hexagon Cardigan in-person class this Saturday. 10:30 to 12:30. Takes me a second to remember things. To get everything you need, groundwork and everything laid out to get going on your Granny Hexi cardigan, which is our make-along for April and May. And it gives you reduced rates on everything else if you need help going along. That's for in-person. And the virtual option for that, since we're talking about virtual things, that's why I'm talking about it now, is, I'm explaining, because no show notes, people. The virtual option, the Coach and Connect, there are 4 hour-long sessions on Saturday evenings from 6:30 to 7:30 U.S. Eastern Time. It's $40 for the whole thing.
Sorry.
It's $40 for the whole thing. It starts this Saturday, April 5th, and then it's like every other Saturday. But that you can buy in our online shop, and the dates are all there because I can't remember them, especially with this. So, and something really fascinating is happening here, which we'll get to soon. You're fine. No, it's just I was distracted by everyone looking at this, and
Oh, she's the princess from Tangled. It's Tangled.
is that because
She
you were
was the
called
princess
from Tangled before?
Yeah,
It
and I
has
got
to be like
really
fair play.
upset,
Are you chain plying as you knit?
No.
No. That's
That's
why.
what that
It
looks
just-
like. Oh, it's
One
just
of
Tangled.
them
Yeah.
is just...
It's just Tangled.
It
That's
was
what we
a
got
circle.
distracted.
There it is.
Yeah.
We will tell you all about what Liz is doing right now, and actually, I'm gonna crochet while we talk too,
Okay.
because I need to finish a row before I can try this thing on. I got big eyes from Hannah. I'm locking eyes with you just because you're locking eyes with me. So we have a couple of questions. That is you can always write in with questions that we can address. It gives us something else to talk about other than just what we're working on. You can email
Liz at sundragonartandfiber.com.
Sorry, I said that out of order. Or you can send us a card at 181 Rosman Highway, Brevard, North Carolina, 28712. We have 2 emails today. So I'm going to get my stuff out while Liz is finding and reading questions.
Okay, the first one.
Yes.
This is Rebecca and I talked about it.
We did. I can't remember what we
It's
talked about.
the color changing. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hi, ladies. I've been knitting lots of socks lately using self-striping yarn. I find that many of these yarns, regardless of quality, have what I call overlapping color spots, where when the yarn changes from, say, red to blue, there is a purple length of yarn in between the two colors. Anyway, how do you handle them?
Okay. So, and she sent pictures, which we've looked at. Couple of things I would say about this, first of all, is sometimes that's on purpose because it's trying to make it look a little more artsy.
You get
A
an
little
extra
more-
color in there for the bang.
Yeah, sometimes it's to make it look hand-dyed even when it's not. And sometimes that happens when it is hand-dyed.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of unavoidable that colors overlap. And actually the yarns that are more mass-produced maybe either intending to have that happen, to have it look like it's hand-dyed, or like it's not necessarily a sloppy thing. It could be as well.
When dyes are wet and they're laid down on top of each other, it happens too.
It bleeds a little bit.
Yeah.
How we handle it mostly is we embrace it and knit right through it and let it happen, because it's part of either the imperfection of the yarn or the artsy look of the yarn. Like I saw a yarn on Knit and Chat where someone was like, it has these speckles in the solid stripes and I don't like it. And it's like, that was actually on purpose to make it try to replicate hand-dyed artsy yarn. It's even the mostly precisely dyed yarn could potentially have that. So, I mean, I'm happy to just keep saying everything we said, and then I'm the only one talking.
Yeah, it's like
Delicious.
dyeing Easter eggs. When you dip it,
Yeah.
it's going to bleed over into spots. Mm-hmm. And even if you dry it out, it's going to change colors.
Yes. What were you saying just now?
Color manipulation is the only other thing.
So
I can
what do
think
you mean
of.
by, I think that's fantastic, and what do you mean by color manipulation? So this is if you don't like that spot and don't want to just blast right through it.
You can cut the yarn and go from the spot that you don't like to the next spot that you do like, where, say, the red then turns into the blue, transitions into that blue, skip the purple section, and go start back into the blue. But for someone who doesn't like socks in the first place, and then you have that little knot in there.
Well, or if you don't tie knots, like
That's
we
There's just
don't,
a lot
That's
of ends
true.
to weave.
Then there's
It's
more
a
ends
lot
to
of
weave
ends
in.
to weave in
Yeah.
a tiny
Um,
space.
Yes, absolutely.
In a very
Awesome.
tiny
No,
space.
that's one of the things. If you don't like it, like how we deal with it is we just blow right through it and say, oh well. Like
Yeah.
they're handmade socks. Fantastic. If you don't like it, color manipulation. So cut that part out. And then deal with it how you like. I personally don't like knots because I worry they're going to come undone and they have that little hard knot, right?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
like, neat. So I will leave ends and, do the weaving, which is really kind of like following the trail, finding a way to sew them in. The fancy name is weaving, but it's really just sewing them in. One of the things I was saying to Liz when we were talking about this is if you want crystal clear stripes, what I would do is buy different colors of yarn and actually stripe your socks, which is something that self-striping yarn is trying to replicate without you having to do that kind of hassle, right? But the only way to get really clear, crystal clear colors, vibrant and separate from each one of them without any possibility of there's a spot in there where the colors might merge, is really to do the striping yourself.
Self-striping and the self-patterning is the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
if
It's
you're
not gonna be
off
perfect.
by any tension, the little dots that are supposed to look
Yeah.
like Fair Isle bits
Well,
are gonna kind of wobble. It's like your flavored water. They took a pattern and blew it on the yarn and went.
Depends on the flavored water, bro.
My
It
seltzer
does.
she's talking
But
about.
like her seltzer, where she's like, or when I
The
talk
joke-
about
the
yarn.
The joke about
Why?
LaCroix is
Yeah.
that some like fruit went by and went,
Yeah.
Or it's like sitting on the metro next to you.
Yeah.
and it's
Little
just
box.
radiating.
You can smell it. You
Yeah.
can smell it, but
Yeah.
there's still the can
Um,
and it's still closed.
and people who actually take the time to dye, hand dye self-striping yarn, it's a long and laborious process. So what the writer was saying was, regardless of quality, like if it's mass produced or indie dyed or something like that. And I know there's probably some indie dyers out there who are like, I pride myself on my work and how clean it is. There's just still, I mean, that's, to me, that's one of the joys of using hand dyed yarn, is it's going to be kind of fun
I think it's
and have irregularities to it.
it's the irregularities because you're dyeing different colors, and regardless of whether a machine dyed it or a person dyed it, they're still going to be there. Like,
Yeah.
it's colors, and yeah. Anyway.
So I hope that helps. It's like if it really bugs you. Again, it's not necessarily like they're saying of any quality, it happens, and it's not a sign of poor quality when it does happen. In fact, sometimes the mass producers are trying to do it on purpose so it looks hand dyed. But if it really bugs you, cut it out and deal with the hassle that comes with that. So
There's always a hassle with something in knitting, and my biggest hassle with socks is tiny needles. So it could always be worse. Tiny needles and then changing and cutting yarn.
Oops.
Okay, next question. This one's for Hannah.
Oh, goodness.
Dear Becky, Lizzy, and Hannah. Oops. Oh no,
What'd you do?
I think I hit the wrong button. Oh wait, no, I did.
Did you archive it?
I might have archived it. Hold on.
I can help you get back to that unless you...
Found it.
Okay.
Okay, my finger hit the phones.
button.
Yes. Dear Becky, Lizzy, and Hannah. Both Becky and Lizzy have shared their stories of how they got started knitting. Hannah has not. How did you get started? What was your first project? When? Which yarn? Curious kitty. If you can remember back that far.
It
Let's
was
just
only
start
20 years ago.
Let's just start with, when did you start knitting / crocheting / whatever?
I was about 5 years old. My aunt owned a yarn shop in Charlotte at the time. And she had my cousin and I go to, I think it was a yarn camp or something during the summer.
A yarn camp?
Yeah.
I love
Like this little camp where you learn to knit, and they had us start with finger knitting, and we cruised through that. We are the most competitive chicas. And so we were going through balls and balls of yarn on the daily.
I can just imagine the strings of hand knitting, like,
Oh,
all
yes.
over the...
Oh yes, my grandparents were not very thrilled. And because we were, excelling at that, we learned to knit very shortly after. And my first knitting project that I remember, I had like a cold or it wasn't the flu.
You had goobers.
I had something, and the same cousin came over, and she sat in my bed with me, and we made, like, little headbands.
Contagious goobers. What?
Yeah, we made
Sorry.
little headbands while, I was potentially contagious, and it was a green, likely cotton yarn, because I remember the feeling of it. When I was probably 5 or 6.
And you're still addicted to cotton.
I adore cotton, so yes.
That's awesome. Because I had this thought as you were starting to talk about, you started when you were 5, so you've been knitting longer than me. I'm like, no, actually,
No, we all started about the same
We've
time.
been knitting the same amount of time. You were just much younger when you got started, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Like, mine was not a child. Well, kind of, but not really.
When did you start crocheting?
I started crocheting when I was 18. It was a love-hate relationship. I still have a love-hate relationship with crochet.
I feel like
It's I learned tried to do it through YouTube on my own for years and years and years, starting when I was like 12, and ended up going over to a friend's house, and she taught me how to chain, and from there I took off, and don't know why I was able to do it with her, but it worked there, and then now I have to put all of crochet in timeout for a little while. My tension just won't hold for right now. I don't know what's going on, but stages of life.
You've been you've been blasting through some awesome knitting though, so that's very cool.
I'm pretty happy with it at the moment.
Yeah. Everyone, I mean, we've talked about this before. Everyone has their happy place, and people should just make what they want to make. Yay! Anyway, yeah. That's my soapbox for today. Does that answer all the questions?
That's
on
all
there?
of them.
Cool. Okay, if you have more, send them to us. Yay! That's awesome. Gives us things to talk about. Ooh. And now your game is back. Okay.
Well, yeah.
No, okay. So I'm not addicted to merge dragons anymore, but I'm addicted to different merge games when you only have to merge 2 on like the tile board instead of the 3.
Just a little plug.
Well, no, and they don't pay us any money. We're just literally addicted. No, but so my solution now, because I started spending money on one of the merge games, which is really bad. I have 3 merge games on my phone now, so when I run out of energy in one, I will switch to a different one, so I won't be tempted to spend money, and that should last me like a day, I figure, before I get the itch again. But look, we're filming. I can't merge anything right now. And I got my row done, so.
That's what I like about merged dragons is it can just sit there.
And the dragons can work on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so we should talk about the things we're working on. Are you still tangled? No, you just have fuzzies. Okay.
No, it's.
Why are you giving that to me?
I'm not.
You should put it in her elbow.
No, it's
buttocks.
vegetation.
You want to stick it there? Why?
Yeah, because I think it'd be funny.
It's vegetation.
Oh, it's
you don't want.
By vegetation, it's little twiggy stuff. Okay.
Oh, is that like a twig?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that would be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, never mind then.
Okay.
Who should we start with today? Hannah or Liz?
This feels very Blue's Clues.
This is what's called dead air, and it's not a good thing. And yeah, Blue's Clues had a lot of dead air. But that's because they wanted preschoolers to be looking around the screen to find stuff. So
Yet again.
I can.
Blue's Clues.
Let's start with Hannah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's just go down the row. So, Hannah, what have you been working on?
I, in the last week, have made and finished a cardigan!
Yes, what I want everyone to notice is this is not the cardigan she showed off last week. That's when I like the pose. The ha-ha! This is not some of the same color, so talk to us about it.
This is, last week I showed off a wrap cardigan, so it went around. This is a button-down cardigan, and it has the cutest little I'm gonna fall. The cutest little raindrop buttons. You can't really tell.
They're clear, and they have some texture on the back of them, so yes, I think that's really, really cute.
And, yeah.
And some of the colors are similar to the wrap.
Yeah,
correct?
some of them are the same. I was trying to use my leftover yarn from my old, not my old, but my other
last
cardigan.
one. Yeah.
And then, like, right at the tail end of the sleeve, you can kind of see where I ran out.
Brighter.
It
I like it.
becomes brighter. And I had to use my Wonder Dwarf, which is actually spring something.
And I might be using that in one of my things. It looks like this before she knit with it. Just the bottom of her sleeve cuffs. And what else?
My pockets.
And her buckets. I like that you put pockets on them. They're
Oh.
very cute.
The
Look at
pattern
stuff,
has
but-
pockets.
I know. But
Yeah,
she
the
didn't.
pattern
The
has
last time she
pockets.
used the pattern, she didn't put pockets on.
Yeah, my wizard one doesn't
Yes.
have pockets.
So, I feel like cardigans are your jam right now.
I'm kind of loving my
Yeah.
cardigans at the moment.
Awesome.
I cannot find cardigans that I like regularly in stores, but I don't really like to wear jackets. That's not my thing. So making cardigans, I'm really loving it.
Yeah, and one of the benefits of knit and crochet is you can create what you want when you can't find it in a store. And yes, it's probably going to be more expensive, and and we know it's going to take a lot longer.
Yes.
But then you're happy.
Yes, very much so.
And when you're a semi-monogamous knitter, it only takes like a week. No, that's a
She
plus.
means that as a good
That's
thing.
true. That's true.
So what size needles were you knitting on? Do you remember?
I was knitting on 11s for the body, and then for the ribbing, I think I went down to not this base ribbing, but for this ribbing and the cuffs, I went down to 10.
And sometimes the ribbing on cardigans, that the lining of the collar edge can be really funky looking. Yours looks really nice. No, but you were the US 11s. That's 8mm for people who don't use US sizes for stuff, and that's one of the reasons it could There's many reasons, including, again, my brain is dying here, but including that you're a really great knitter. That a week, you were sitting here just starting, or I don't remember how far along you were last week, but you had just started it, I feel like. Yeah, because I remember saying, oh, it's the same color as the wrap you're wearing, but the only colors we could see on it were the blue. You were still in the upper.
I on right before or right after.
That's so cool. And you have made amazing progress on a new thing since even yesterday.
Insomnia helps.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's why. Oh, you were gauge swatching for this yesterday. So tell us about your new project.
This, I wrote down the name. Woo! This is the Viveka cardigan by my favorite things.
Okay.
That's the lady's name, or that's what she advertises herself as.
Yeah.
I, of course, am not at the beginning of a row. That's kind of my thing.
That's okay.
It's a half fisherman's rib, and that was a new thing for me. I've only made a hat with it, and she does it in a funky brioche. But I'm using a lavender form of the cumulus.
So this is your third top
There we go.
in Juniper Moon Cumulus.
Yes.
And is this going to be a cardigan too? I missed that
Yes,
part.
this is going to be a cardigan. This is the Viveka cardigan.
And I was, as soon as I said that, I'm like, I bet it was in the name you just said. I cannot retain information
don't know
right
if
now.
I actually added the cardigan part.
You might have. You probably did. Someone will tell us in the comments because
Probably.
as they're watching, they're going to type. That is awesome. And so I also love that everything you've made so far, they're all cardigans, but they all look very different. The colorway might look the same, but the style is totally different for each and every one. So I'm just pointing that out to our watchers,
Yay.
She spends a lot of time going, I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I spent probably 4 hours on the couch in the living room yesterday at the shop, in the shop's living room, rolling around going, I don't know what to do. It was bad. I was very tired yesterday, and I annoyed Liz quite a bit.
You were half sleeping and poking Bernie at the same
I
time.
was half sleeping. I was poking Bernie. I was making Liz irritated.
No, not
and then it sounds
not
like
as much yesterday as when you were poking me with your toes.
okay, and
That's true. That's
but
true.
that time you almost took yourself out on
That was a different day.
Oh God. Okay.
There's been more than once.
So you were really tired yesterday,
But
And
I
then-
managed to find one.
and you found one, and then this is because it sounds like you didn't sleep last night either. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I think I got to bed around 1:30.
Okay.
Maybe 2.
I feel kind of bad complaining about a migraine right now because that doesn't sound pleasant either. But anyway, it's not a competition unless I'm winning. No, I'm kidding. So no, but that looks really pretty, and this is like a very different color than what you've been knitting with on your other ones. So.
I don't really know if, like, a few little shades
There's some
of
purples
purple
in there,
have popped
but,
up,
yeah.
but it's very minor in the, as far as
It's a
where it
different
is.
color, but it's still in your color palette.
It was
Yes.
between purple and green.
Ooh.
And she was in a purple phase. And when she's in a purple
Are we
phase...
talking about this green?
It won't go away.
No, I don't think so.
I didn't think so either. This is kind of bright. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, your turn.
Okay. I changed out my hair.
It's like, let's make a list.
Let's make a list. Changed out my hair. It's reds and grays, and there's a little bit of white.
Why did you change your hair?
It's April, and this is my birthday hair.
And
When-
she's a huge fan of Ferrari.
No.
No, she's
No.
not.
Okay. So this is her birthday hair that Hannah keeps trying to push in a different direction. And when is your birthday?
April 14th.
Do we want to talk about how old you're turning?
I'm going to be
Yes.
50.
She's gonna be 50. It's a big one. And you're wearing your Formula One hat.
Yes, because there's a race this weekend.
Okay. And your Formula One hat goes with your dress and your jewelry and everything. So yeah. And the dress is quasi new.
The dress is new. It's a lighter blue flannel. Everybody had a shirt like this in the 90s, too.
Yeah, mine was dark and broody though.
Well, I know, but, like, this is one of those flannel shirts from, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my sister had a shirt like this. Anyway,
You even match with your wrist rulers and your nails and stuff.
kind of.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Moving on. So, what is this? What is this? Can I ask?
This is my morning shawl that I had to frog.
MOURN.
Yes. I had
She
to
doesn't just wear it until noon and
frog
take
it,
it off.
and I have to frog it again.
You frogged it?
No, I frogged the lace. I have to frog the lace again because once again I'm off.
She's off from something she's creating. So,
So you see what had happened was
yes.
I did my 1800s triangle shawl, and then I was like, I'll crochet a lace trim.
Yep.
So I found a gorgeous lace trim chart on Pinterest, and I was like, I can do this. And I can't math, so I couldn't do this, and I got like 3 or 4
You couldn't
rows
even
into the
fudge
chart.
it?
No, it's very anyway.
Okay.
So I think I've got it, but I have to frog this and anyway. I have to math a lot, and I can't math. And by math, I mean count to 6.
I think she can
So-
math. She just doesn't like it.
No, it's the counting to 6.
Oh, well, that's different.
Yeah.
Than the math we usually
It's
do.
more
on the show.
counting than mathing. So anyway, it's in timeout. And because Hannah was starting a new cardigan yesterday,
I didn't do it.
I am starting a new cardigan yesterday. So this is project 209 on
Math,
Noodles.
second after that is English.
Yeah.
And conjugation. Go ahead.
Oh.
Our verb tense was all black.
Well, of course it was.
Tickle in my throat.
It is Wool Addicts water and 2 strands of mohair. It's okay. It won't die.
But it's so soft and fluffy.
It is soft and fluffy, and I'm
Wool
basically
Addicts
doing
water is crimped alpaca, so
Mhm.
it's all like fluffy. And sorry,
I'm doing the
interrupted.
same cardigan I've been making, so nothing new on that.
It was supposed to be fisherman's rib.
It was supposed to be a fisherman's rib, but Hannah doesn't like the color, so she's okay that I backed out of
I
that.
don't like the green. It looks like
It
weird
doesn't.
olives. Expired olives.
moldy olives. Yeah,
I
'Cause
like
it's
the
fuzzy.
color.
I think it's pretty. I'm just going.
I
with,
like the color.
I'm just going with Hannah's.
Hannah has color issues when we pick colors together. So, anyway, It's not issues with her colors. It's issues with anybody else's colors. Particularly
honest with
mine.
you two.
All right, I am. Are you?
I'm done.
Are you gartering this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same as all my other cardigans.
I was trying to get this ready so I could try it on for y'all. So, I tried this. Okay, it slipped, but it was attached to the barber cord, so it's okay. I am almost done with my staffing. I know the make-along's over, but that doesn't mean you have to be over your done with your project. Yeah, words are hard right now. So I was almost done with this Tuesday at Virtual Sit and Stitch, and then I had a migraine. So I haven't done any more work on this. I've done maybe a row or two since Tuesday Virtual Sit and Stitch, but I tried it on for those people, and I thought I would try it on for you all. So yeah, talking while I was putting that on barber cords was hard. Because, so, I think I just want to get to the end of the bobble section. I'll show you what I mean by that. And then I can do the edging on everything. I need Liz to come home and help me get dressed in the morning, apparently. But, where the cord is kind of weird because I had to attach two together. But, this is the length.
I like it.
And I think this with just a little bit more hem is going to be just fine. So this is the staffin' was our make-along for February and March. And I made the pullover, which is off camera, but right over there. And this guy with Merino 401, I forget, but I think this is ball 6 of 50-gram balls, which would be 3... I just went 3. 100-gram skeins if you were doing that. So you might need 4 if you're making my size. But I'm going to finish this up. I don't know exactly when because I'm already really excited to be doing other things right now. But this is pretty much almost done. I don't need it to be super extra long, but I think this is actually because this is in the diamond brocade. So the pattern goes... bobble, diamond brocade, bobble, ribbing. Bobble, diamond brocade, bobble, ribbing. And she suggests ending, like, I've got the bobble, diamond brocade to have another bobble and then do the hem for some sizes. And I think that will work for this one. It isn't as long as I usually make tops, quite. It might be once I get done with everything else. But I'm okay with it not being as long as, like, my pullovers. Because, see, if I wear it over a dress like this, or I'm going to have something underneath it. Like, we were talking about that the other day. Like, the cute thing to do, although I don't know if I have any button-down shirts that fit me anymore, is to have a cute button-down shirt under this and have, like, the bottom of the button-down shirt showing down here. So, yeah, I will see how if I can make any more progress on this.
Well, and having it just a little bit longer than, with the
fuzzies,
the extra bobble rows and stuff, when you tighten up the sleeves and the collar, it could come up just a little bit.
Yeah. So the other thing, I'm really only showing off 2 things today that have to do with our make-alongs. And since it's April, the other thing, other than Liz's birthday, that's going on this month is the start of our Granny Hexagon cardigan, or Granny Hexi Cardi. But ours, the pattern we're using for ours, because there's so many different patterns out there, is the Granny Hexagon cardigan by Kelly Phelps, I believe. It's craft and a cuppa, like you. My favorite things was your thing. Craft and a cuppa, like a cup of tea, is her pattern, and I during the wildfires last week when I was both making lots of progress on this and progress on this because they were 2 kind of mindless things. So the cool thing is I've made immense progress on this. So this that you're looking at is where the two hexagons, when I folded them, it's so neat that you make hexagons to the right dimension that she suggests for your size. And then when you fold the hexagons in half, they become L-shaped, and you can seam the shoulder. So I have two of those here. And I remember I put them on my sleeves when they were, like, on my arms when they were done. And I felt like I had this huge expanse across my back. And I was talking with Liz, and I'm like, she says only do 5.5 centimeters. Like, that's what this is in here. Like, this dark stripe right here is the end of the hexagon on both sides. And she said do 5.5 centimeters on each side for my size. Like, of added rows just in the back, not in the front. And then join them. And I was like, that's not going to be enough. That's not going to be enough. And Liz was like,
It'll be
shut
enough.
up. And I did it, and it worked. And I was so excited. And so that made me want to keep going. And I added, so that ended up being 5 rows. 5 rows on this hexagon, and 5 added rows on this hexagon. And then the light stripe in the center, it's the banana cream color, was my joining row. And then, funnily enough, to get the right amount of length, we have yard work happening outside. I'm gonna let him blow past. I did 5 extra rows on the sleeves to get better length, and I wish I had only done one cuff just to show you the difference between the uncuffed and the cuffed, but it looked like a bell sleeve, and then I put a cuff on it, and I really like it now. And I started even adding length. I just was like, never mind showing stuff off in progress. I'm just booking on this thing. I'm making sure my dragon doesn't catch on this. But so this is where I'm at with it right now, which I think is lovely. I'm so happy with this. It's so fun.
It looks so cool.
And busy and awesome. You can see the seam of the two ends of the hexagon coming together right there. And then I did my cuffs. They're back post and front post double crochet, but this is the only spot where I've done anything more complicated than doubles and chains to have gathered cuffs that give me like a puffy sleeve, which is really cool. And I've just started adding length. Here's my current dilemma, but I figure I probably should stop and move on to something else soon. I have added 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, below the hexagon across the back and everything. I was thinking I'm using like 22 skeins of Old Dye Lot Cascade 220 Superwash. So I have a billion yards of yarn left. And I was like, I'm going to make this long and flowy and like a coat. And then Carol yesterday was like, well, I bet it's just going to be nice looking and long enough if you do 5 rows here. Because I've done 5 rows on either side of the back. 5 rows here. Couple more rows here, and then the edging. This could be actually a really nice cardigan size without being a coat. And then I could be done because I have too many projects on needles.
It's
so
true.
That's the dilemma. So the other thing we did yesterday, because so this is going to have an edging on the bottom and up. Like, there's still more to go on this. This is almost finished, but not quite. The other thing we did yesterday, I weighed this, like, in its entirety right now. And it was about, because I'm using so many balls of yarn, it's like, how much yarn do you actually need to make this? And that depends on the size you're making and the thickness of yarn and your hook. And there's so many things, it's hard to say, get this much yarn. But my size, which was, I went off of centimeters, but it's probably like a 50-inch-ish, because her pattern is totally centimeters. And the added length and everything like that, it was just about 750 grams of yarn. And we'll get back to that person in a few minutes. Which is 7.5 gram balls of yarn. And I think we did the math, and it's about 1,600, 1,700 yards so far on what I've made. So 8 balls of yarn minimum for my size. And it might take up a little more because I'm going to do a couple more rows around the edges. But I'm wearing this and showing this off to kind of end with, please join in our make-along because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You don't have to, like, pay to participate, but if you'd like assistance with it, and I've done a lot of the different elements of this, so I feel fully qualified to help out. You can do the gathered sleeves, you can do wide open sleeves, you can do fancy edging or not. There's so many different things you can do with it. I feel like it's such a versatile thing. The phone is distracting me, but I think I'm going to do a cumulus one next with these 3 colors. Like, I'm thinking about trying to make something different than this, but, you know, like I was thinking about going down to 2 colors only. But this is going to still give it some variety because this changes colors throughout the whole... I mean, if we did the whole thing in just a rainbow, it would be so pretty. Cool. It would be so pretty. But you know me, I have to make things semi-complicated or else I lose the will to finish it. But this I can do with a much bigger hook. So I'm hoping to show you all that. But that's to circle back and remind y'all that... in-person class is this Saturday, and sign up with us by contacting us. That's just in a couple days, April 5th. The virtual Coach and Connect can have unlimited numbers of people in it, and that's a great way either to get assistance or just to connect with another group that is making the same thing, other people who are making the same thing. And that one you can get in our online shop. So I think that's everything I wanted to say because it's almost 10, so it's almost time to open the shop. But I'm waiting to start this until Saturday. But I'm percolating ideas. Yeah, well, I'm thinking like 2 rows of these colors and maybe 1 row of this. I don't know. I want to do something like this one. I change colors every single row. And I want to do something different, but I haven't decided how I'm doing it differently. But it's been very difficult not to start it. But I do have lots of other things to work on, so it shouldn't be a problem. And last night, I went home and didn't touch anything.
I didn't do anything.
I had ramen and went to bed. But, okay, we love y'all. Thanks for watching.
Like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the
fun stuff. And we will be back here next week. So, yeah, I think that's it. All right, bye.